Filling the hard drives. Let's skip the intro this time. Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Dread and Circus campaign, season 4, episode 10. Let me get our faces in order, which I forgot to do. We ended up just chit-chatting before the stream instead of me doing my job. We got all Adams. Adam is the DM and all of the players tonight. Apparently, that is good. Let me unmute your mic so you guys can jibba jabba while I get this thing set up here. Hot mics, hot mics. How is everyone doing tonight?
I'm good. Everyone else, I hope, is good. Foxfire, nice to see you here.
What's happening, Parrot?
Nem, also. Oh yeah, you're.
My face is burned and my arms are like bruised up. I don't know if you can see that.
Ooh.
It's a bruise. And then I don't know if you can see. Just peeled the skin off my forearms.
Tell us how you did, man. Your
I
competition.
came in sixth. In the top half, there was 14 competitors in my weight class. I was competitive in all the events and did better than I was expecting, so I'm pretty happy about it. Didn't poop. That's important.
We were chuckling about that earlier on stream.
It was, I know you guys were laughing about it. It was legitimately one of the goals. It was a fun time. There were 3 injuries during the day, and one of them is really funny, which is why I bring it up.
Did he poop?
No, that wouldn't be funny. That would be too bad, guy. One of the lightweight guys twisted an ankle on a static lift, which is weird. It wasn't bad. It was it just looked bad. One of the heavyweight guys, the guy I train with frequently, screwed up on the bus pole and peeled his calluses off of both hands.
Ow.
It was very not good. He completed the day, but taking the tacky off after the Atlas stones would have been terrible. He was not happy anymore. The third one, which is what I think is funny, is one of the female strong women competitors lost a piece of her weave during an event.
Oh.
And she got very upset and went home. She was done. And that made me smile.
And shouldn't.
Mark, what's up with you? Congrats, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
And then you were saying most of the competitors were younger than you, like.
Oh yeah. The people, the people, like the guy who won, was 14 years younger than me. And then the people who placed ahead of me were all about 10 years younger than me. One of the guys would have been like 25, so it'd been like 9 years.
So you were saying even with your age penalties.
Well, yeah, because I'm in the middle-aged category, right?
Right.
We've got that -1 strength.
But the +1 int, wisdom, and charisma.
Right. There's a bunch of dudes who are like, so I hit all the planning stuff. I got to work, which was good. So like, except for sunscreen, obviously, I missed that part of the plan. But like, I had food, and I had a chair, and I had like 6 liters of water to drink, and I drank all of it, and I had all the things. I showed up early, and I went to bed on time. Woo! So, yeah, it was good. I was competitive, and I think I'm going to take it more seriously over the next.
To the next
level. Yeah, I'm going to retrain some of my ability. Fuck this. I trained up int because I wanted to be a nerd in university. Let's retrade some of those ability scores.
Yeah, Adam sounds a little bit weird. We tried to fix it. I'm getting weird things every time he moves, so it could be his cable as well. I don't know if there's a little kink in it or something like that. Yeah. He's a bit off today.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
It's all right.
Everything's connected. I don't know.
Yeah, VC made me sound weird to the guys last week, but I sounded fine on local recording. So
And this was a similar case. I found
Yep.
I did a local recording and I sounded normal.
yeah, and we're getting little buzzes every time you touch your. That just gave us a buzz. That just gave us a buzz. It might be when you're turning it on and off.
Yeah, that's the physical switch for muting.
Yep.
Adam, might be your the drive, like the USB port.
I tried switching it.
Ahmed, what's going on with you, man?
Do you guys remember when you like graduated like school and stuff? How long was your ceremony?
I didn't go to my undergrad and I didn't go to my grad school, so my ceremony was opening up the letter when it got mailed to me.
Which ceremony?
Graduate, like, they give you the, you know, you wear the hat, you throw it, they give you all that shit, right?
Yeah, but what?
Which age group?
Yeah.
My 5-year-old graduating from daycare.
Yeah. Okay. What?
That would be the longest one.
3 hours.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my god!
3 hour in a small little area.
How do you
They
get?
had cake and all that bullshit, but so it was me, my mom, my dad, my wife, my other son, and he's up there. My dad was sitting right beside me. I was like, we sat down and like, oh, this is great, this is great. 5 minutes into it, he's like, so how long is this? I'm like, it's supposed to take 3 hours. Seriously? I'm like, yeah. He fucking got up and left. He's like, I got a soccer match to watch.
Well, you know, I love hockey. Stanley Cup playoffs are on right now. I managed to watch the first period and a half. Please do not tell me the score. I am fucking DVRing
I was
it.
about to give you the update.
Don't.
I caught up to him an
At some
hour.
point, I
and a
might
bit
have to
later.
go and send a couple texts to mock some coworkers who are really heavily invested in this game.
Yep. Did they like Boston?
Yes, they do.
Oh yeah, St. Louis. All right, cool. They were up 2-0 too, and they were just rocking. They were just rocking the Bruins. I think it's legally required as a Montreal Canadiens fan for me to hate Boston. So, like I think it's a requirement. It's just what you sign up for when you declare yourself a Habs fan. Anyways, Mark, what's going on with you?
Yeah, nothing since Saturday. So
Okay.
let's play some game.
All right, cool. Let's do a recap of what happened last game. 409 was called Shadow Abduction. Zyra and her band try to escape the Imperial Hedge while shadow walking. Eventually, they make their way to the small city of Tebron and learn about its inhabitants. While shadow walking near Tebron, they encounter a shadow folk and are chased by an ancient umbral dragon. Zyra and gang learn about the cult of the Reborn before heading to the subterranean city of Lyrudrada. In fact, you guys were on your way walking down the tunnels in the Shadow Plane. So not only is Lyrudrada on the Shadow Plane, it is also a subterranean Shadow Plane city, which may have saved it from the Imperial... Purge is a good word. During the end of the last Shadow War, where Shadow Tebron was basically leveled. All but this strange Tower of Whispers, which seems to act as a physical way for you to walk between this world and the Shadow Plane itself. You also discovered something very interesting and important in Shadow Tebron. There was no sign of the Imperial Hedge, like the particular spike that was in the.
It's brand new, guys. Not a sign of age.
I had fun quickly looking up certain things on your character sheets and making rolls behind the DM screen for that one while you were in the square. Remember when the guards were like, "Hey, don't get on the fucking fountain," you know? Like there was there was a roll made at that time, and that's all.
Don't worry, the ghoul archer craftsman isn't like, how do I make a hedge staff? He's more, what is a hedge staff?
Right. That's funny. That's all.
The nerd told me it was a hedge staff. It's got to be one. The nerd told me
Yep.
it was one.
Yep. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, so you guys are along a path. You saw some shadow folk, like traders or merchants, kind of moving a large wagon past you. It looked like they were heading in the direction of the ruins and not of Lyrudrada. The way is pretty clear. Zyra, you've walked this path many times before on your way to the city. You just to remind Zyra, or Adam, that Zyra, when she left 10 years ago, left behind allies, some of which were also heretic clerics of the god Lyr, the god of the moon, or the goddess of the moon. And you might have even brought that religion to Lyrudrada. You do have the leader of your small, I guess, cult, if you will. Her name was...
Ayana?
her name was Ayana. And you left her in charge of some property that you had purchased. A considerable sized manor in the town. So at some point I'm going to, once you reach Lyrudrada, I'm going to, like, reveal a map. And
I'm also hearing kind of a suggestion that leadership might not be the worst feat in the world.
we could say, given that you don't have leadership, that your leadership you previously had it, you were caught in stone for 10 years, and now you don't know what happened to your followers.
Yeah.
These people that were
My
all...
guess is they gave up after 1 or 2 years.
Yeah. You know that you left Ayana in charge of the group that you had led. Your leadership group, or your followers, were less like a military force and more like an information gathering force, and scholars and people that were concerned with the corruption of the shadow plane.
Yeah.
And at the time, 10 years ago, the cult of the Reborn was a minor menace.
Yeah, it's not a minor menace anymore. It's a problem. It's a full-on problem, and if we were the ones combating it, we need to do our job.
Right.
Could have been because I was a stone.
Yes. So you guys are walking on your way to Lyrudrada. Let's see if there are any other random encounters on your way there. Modron bot. Nope. I'm going to show you. So you had walked... How long did I say the walk was? Did I say this before?
From where we were to...
Yeah, well, we're gonna say it's half a day. You had shadow walked about half of the distance, so it was about a 2-hour walk from where you were. Do you remember what time of day it was?
We were actually in Tebrin.
That next morning, right?
And it was that next morning that we were farting around. We actually spent a whole day there, and then we went to kidnap a guard. And this was all like sort of extension of kidnapping the guard.
Yeah, but you had left to kidnap the guard in the morning, or did you stay the entire day gathering info and then you kidnapped the guard?
We spent the entire day gathering info, then the day after we went and kidnapped the guard.
Got it. Because I remember it was like 11 o'clock in the morning when you guys tried.
Yeah,
you deked out the dragon by going to the prime material plane and then immediately back to the shadow plane, and then zipped away quickly, which was pretty good.
Our lives.
Yeah, that and shadow walking is not an exact science. Yeah. Thankfully, there was a lot of cover and still trees around Tebrin. Okay, so you guys walk for a couple of hours. There's not much foot traffic, although there is definitely a road that you're following. Thankfully, every 100 yards or so, there is a we'll call it a torch, but it's more like a stone sconce that has not only in its bowl like a bunch of like glowing fungus, but the glowing fungus kind of goes down the stone monument. The light that it casts is very like dim and shadowy. We need a new word after shadow. We're just never going to use the word shadow again after this campaign. Casts dim light, and at least it lights the way. Murgovane and Zeta are probably miserable by now, kind of tripping over rocks and little things, as their sight is not very good in this place. Not only are you in the shadow plane, you are underground, and whatever light that you are casting via light spells are only half their effectiveness. You do quickly learn that every time you cast it, it's not necessarily like automatic. Yes.
Uh,
I'm assuming Murgovane has light spell that he's periodically
Yeah,
using.
yeah.
What is Murgovane's caster level?
He is for the light spell. He is a 12th level caster.
Okay, so it works probably 60% of the time. Now it's a cantrip, so you just keep on like trying it, but it's like this place wants to snuff the light of your faith out.
a flashlight from any horror film where that just doesn't work when you need it.
Yeah, you're like shit. You're tapping it, and finally turns out
Where's this music coming from? Fuck.
exactly. You know that Zyra, since you did not shadow walk into the city, that you're gonna have to go through the gates. There are many gates that come that are winding their way, or kind of that are on the edge of the city, leading out into various tunnels of Lyrudrada. And
Everyone be on your best behavior.
Alright. Why?
Because I can't help. I can't have us escape. We'll need to use other magics.
Why don't we just rest till tomorrow?
Are we in a? Would camping around here be a normal thing to do, or is it too close to the city?
You could camp along the side of the road. People might like wonder why.
Is there enough for us? Is there enough space for us to just, like not be seen?
You could try to find side caverns. Some of them actually look like they're like cube-like rooms cut out of the tunnel of rock where you could rest or wait. So we'll say you do find a way stop. It's not very it's not very it's public. Like anyone could walk up to this. It's like a room with three walls, and the one with the missing wall is open to the tunnel.
Well, I think we're going to do our ye olde grovey.
Do it.
Oh, even though it's like noon, you guys are gonna camp for the day?
Well,
We've used up all our high level spells.
Oh, well,
Are your spells gone?
no, only my sixths. If I will need to use scrolls or other magics, as long as we don't have to escape the shadow plane. That's why I'm saying we need to be polite. You can be polite, can't you?
Yeah.
How about you just try to not say anything?
Yeah, that's generally what I do, yeah. I just need to make my mutagen again, and I'm good to go.
Okay, we'll stop for lunch and people can make their mutagens or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, you stop. You do see signs of a barrel that might be used to fill with water. There is no water currently in it, although it does have a sigil on it in probably Shadow Tongue that says for water, and there's like a scoop in it. Like a big water ladle. You find some rough-hewn benches. The wood is weird. You're wondering if it's wood at all. It's a little bit spongy.
Oh, it's like fungal wood.
And signs of habitation, like there's a little bit of garbage on the ground. Somebody ate a chicken or something bird-like. The insects have long since eaten away the marrow and the flesh that was left behind. There's nobody here. It's kind of a spooky sound. It's sort of echoey in the tunnel. You can hear some dripping water, which makes you wonder why someone didn't just fill the barrel. It's kind of rude. It's dry. There is a bit of heat. Now that you notice, it's like sort of a dry warmth.
This place would make you paranoid. It's one thing to be living in a hole. There's one thing to be living in plain shadow. Pretty soon it's a different thing. Thank you, Leia. I love you too. It's a completely different thing to be living in the shadow in a hole. Apparently I'm the only one. Alright.
Well, the shadow's kind of weird. floating underground, that's not so bad. Yeah, you won't fall into the sky.
Okay, those that have mutagens, which I think are marked, is Murgavane
No, he's
no,
not.
he's not a.
No, I didn't tweak him that. He's twinky enough.
Not yet, is what you're saying. Not yet. There will be a point where Mark's like, "Huh, I feel like I'm falling behind a little bit. What can I do?"
Will get his ass kicked by something, and then he'll be like, "Screw you, everyone! Brawler, eugenic brawler."
Okay, so Cade, you remake your mutagen.
He's an alchemist.
Yep.
Yeah, he makes the.
All right, so that brings us to your guessing after walking a little bit and then making the mutagen somewhere in just past noon.
Okay. We'll head towards the gates.
Okay. You walk for about an hour before you find that the tunnel and road leads up to a set of very large, what look like iron doors, although the tinge to the metal is a bit strange. There are dark folk at the door. They are not wearing the same sigils as the people that were guarding the Tower of Whispers. They are wearing sigils of, and give me a roll.
Knowledge, local, I guess.
What local?
Local Lyrudrada, or I don't know how you would know this, but it would be knowledge and ability.
I know it because I'm a bard.
Fucking stupid.
21 Lyrudrada.
I'll take 10 and I'll get 22.
Okay, so you actually read a book that Zyra had left behind in Terra's Lean about the people of Lyrudrada, and the book basically said that the people there aren't necessarily, because they live in the Shadow Plane, guilty. And adding on to the heaps of atrocities committed by the Imperium, them leveling Shadow Tebron was leveling not only their enemy, but also a bunch of innocent people. People being shadow folk. Now, you could play the card that they're no longer human, but given that your party, I think there's no humans in the party, Renee included.
As far as you know, he's human.
Right.
Except for the whole, he's pretty good in the dark.
Yep.
And he keeps skipping on the meals.
So they are wearing the sigils of the city of Lyrudrada. So while their sigil may remain the same, you don't know who the current commander of Lyrudrada is. So this could be tense. I gave you a name before. This is the person that was the.
Give me a second. I think it's a small sheet.
His name was Ulu Bao. It was the warrior.
He was. Apparently, I was having a seizure on my keyboard. Darkfold Ulu Bao of Lyrudrada. Yeah. Ulu Bao.
Okay, so I'm going to make this visible. Here is Lyrudrada. There are 2 gates that you can go through coming from this particular approach. One gate to the left leads you to a district called Digger's Delve, and the one to the screen right is called the Mud Shore. Neither one of these districts is where your estate is. Digger's Delve and Mud Shore both have docks where you could take a boat across a great river that runs and bisects the city, called the Grey Foam River. Digger's Delve is closer to you have a property in something called Bleak Shore.
Which side of the river is that?
So you'd want to go screen left is the easiest way. Now, what you remember about Digger's Delve, because you lived here for a short time, You know that there is a faction called the Toilers that run the place. That the locals Zverfneblin and Pex, which are a race from the Earth elemental plane. You know that they keep tunneling worms in Digger's Delve. If you went to Mudshore, which would mean more rowing, but you could just hire someone to do it.
It's training.
I'm pretty certain Cade is what rose.
Yes.
The Mudshore is known for inhabiting many of the large subterranean fungal farms that are here. There are craft folk of all types that live in the Mudshore, including alchemists, coopers, potters, shipwrights, and tailors.
All right.
And you actually do see a sign in Dark Folk as well. Oops, a Dark Folk as well as in Shadow Tongue, Shay, and Imperial. Although the Imperial one looks like it's been defaced a bit, and also added last. That have the names of the districts that you're into. It kind of says Lyrudrada, and then it says Digger's Delve Gate and Mudshore Gate.
All right, let's go to the Digger's Delve.
So I have a question. You said these guys at the gates look like shadow folk.
Yep.
How can we tell they're shadow folk? They're just like
So specific, they look like
the physical thing.
Yeah. So if you looked at the token from
They
last
looked
game.
the color and looked.
Oh yeah. So they have grayish skin. Their style of dress is like they wrap almost everything that they can. And then there are different castes and different sizes of dark folk.
So how much do we stand out? Is my concern.
You guys stand out tremendously.
Plus our light spells. That probably tips a lot of people off. They're probably not from here.
So, hey, Zyra, how friendly or unfriendly are they going to be to us?
If you mind your people mind their own business here. At least that's the tradition.
Okay, good. So it should be everywhere.
Okay, the gate looks like it's
out of a job if you minded your own business.
I just don't want people messing with my business.
There are 20-foot tall towers that reach almost to the ceiling around these stone gates that have a weird metal door in the center of it.
The heights of these tunnels are about 20 feet.
Yeah, they're about 25 feet. There's a little spot, like enough space between the tower and the roof
To have like archer pop out and shoot.
to have archers. In fact, when you get close enough, you do see them atop the crenellations. There are weird, like, snaking kind of vine-like fungus that is growing along the stone. Like, for some reason, it was attracted to the stone. You do see a number of dark folk there, both small and medium size, which would make them dark stalkers and dark creepers, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're simply wearing the livery of Lyrudrada, although you do see a gnome amongst them, and the gnome has got wands. The gnome is actually a Zverfneblin by the look of his skin, and might be their captain. They do tense as you approach, and you get the sense that there are crossbows and perhaps other things trained your way as you walk forward. Who's taking lead in your group?
Zito take the lead. No, actually, we'll let Zyra do it because she knows the place. Never mind.
Okay. There is a high nasally voice from the guard.
Cade's standing next to Zyra.
Okay.
So there was Shadow Tongue and Shay on that list,
As well as the tongue of the dark folk.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Well, we'll speak Shadow Tongue.
Okay.
Greetings.
Speak your intent.
I have property.
Okay.
No ill intent.
What district?
I forget the name already because I'm an idiot.
Bleak Shore.
Bleak Shore. talking to me, but I was also eating ice cream. You can see the bind I was in. In the Bleak Shore District.
Very well. You are to proceed directly to the docks. Do not linger. If your business does not keep you in the Digger's Delve.
This is pretty strict, but okay.
Agreed.
The gnome just kind of turns around and makes a swirling motion, and the gates are now opening with kind of a grinding squeak. And you can see the Digger's Delve and all sorts of buildings and stalactites and stalagmites and troglodytic carved buildings out of the sides of the stone itself. Not as in troglodyte the race, but troglodyte the Greek meaning underground dweller. Yeah, there are plenty of businesses and shops and homes and workshops. But there are a couple of guards wearing the livery of Lyrudrada that are effectively shadowing you. They're not being secretive about it. They're just following you to make sure that you go to the docks.
The gnome isn't one of them.
The gnome is not one of them. He seems to be commanding the forces at the gate.
He's certain my wand is bigger.
Is it a regular gnome or is it a?
It is a Sverfneblin.
So he's not a shadow folk.
He's not a shadow folk.
Okay.
Their suspicion of you has turned into they're going to escort you on the business that you said you were on.
Okay, this is fine. We will go to the docks.
Okay, you find yourselves going to one of the docks. Zyra, you always liked going to the dock where it was also part tavern, and I need a good name for a tavern that is also like a place that arranges boats and skiffs. I got one. Styx Oarsman.
Okay.
Which is sort of a grim with a too bad I got it. Put up with a round of stupid ideas first.
We were supposed to tell you like, Steve Bolton.
right. Steve's paddle boats or something.
The dry boat.
Okay. The Styx Oarsman is you like it. You go there and you remember this being a lively place, and it's pretty dour. Everyone's kind of got their hoods up and kind of keeping to themselves. It looks like the place is turned over and ownership. You kind of liked the people that ran the place before.
Yeah, I don't recognize the.
You don't recognize anything. Nope. You do note people haggling quietly over rides, if you want. And I'll zoom out a little bit just to give you an idea as you look through the windows. The Grey Foam River turns into almost a lake.
What is the scale of this map?
The scale of the map is 50-foot squares.
This is a big place.
That's a big lake.
50-foot squares.
Yep.
That's a big lake, baby.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
All right.
Even the dock is fucking big.
Lyrudrada is basically a capital of Shadowfolk.
That's a 200-foot dock. You can put a lot of what? It's not. It's the size of like the one in Oshma. Not like stupidly big. It's good.
So this
Yeah,
must be a big ceiling, though, right?
Yeah, if you zoom out, the scale is down below. So like a quarter mile is that distance.
Is it like dome? Are we under a mountain, or is this like?
Oh, this is a massive cavern.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and I'm assuming we were going down. So
Yeah, you were going down into the earth at the same time that you were traveling. It was like a 4-hour walk into the earth.
cool. Cast
Um,
Earthquake on
the-
in this
the-
room 4 times and see what happens.
You probably know that the founders of this place have protected against such things.
Did they protect against shadow magic earthquakes? Yeah, probably.
Probably first on their first on their
First
list.
of their things
The
to do.
the solid gray is where the cavern floor and the ceiling meet. So there are lots of structural archways and that sort of thing. But it is a stunning sight as you guys are looking. You're obviously the types that are like looking up and kind of with awe. If anyone who was in the tavern who cared that you guys were not from around here, they're probably getting that sensation from some of you.
Well, we'll be paying triple for our boat. Okay, well,
Okay.
A quick, sorry, Marty. Along the way,
Mhm.
I remember we wanted to get some material to make some rods.
Yeah, your shadows saw that you were going to the Styx Oarsmen. They kind of turned around and then they disappeared back into Digger's Delve. You did cross on your path some shops, as I did describe that there were.
craftsman, sculptor,
Yeah.
steal somebody's chisel.
Kate doesn't have any bracers of armor.
The Toilers are the labor caste clan of the city.
Well, Ahmed, why doesn't Cade have bracers of armor?
Kind of overlooked.
So perhaps the laborer caste may not have the right equipment. You'd probably want to go to one of two places, either Mudshore to find like base materials. Zyra also knows that there's a place called Trader's Rift, which is a massive market that you might be able to even buy, like if you were lucky, the rods themselves.
I'm going to be here for a few days.
I don't want to be selfish here, because I know it's only my characters that are having trouble with this, but I think a couple pairs of lenses that provide dark vision might help. The blind
Yes.
characters.
Yes.
Okay, Zeta whispers that to Zyra in the tavern, and what does Zyra say?
Good idea. At a minimum, a wand.
Yes.
Glasses would be better.
They probably would have shadowcraft ones. They tend to be cheaper.
Whatever works.
Alternately, you are a wizard. You're a sorceress, aren't you, dearie?
I am.
To permanent see a dark vision spell?
I could, but given that it would like to come from a scroll or a wand, it'd be easy to dismiss.
Okay. The only person that seems to be available to give you a ride is a cloaked dark folk. He is a dark creeper. He's small and he's suspiciously goblin looking, although maybe that might be your own racism coming into effect.
Zyra's not racist as long as you're an elf.
Right. I need a good name.
Love comes in many forms. Sometimes a big, little, even ugly, and with the fist is made out of metal.
Okay, his name is
Alternately, you can turn Widget into your with the scroll. You can put it in his book and just cast that on you twice a day.
All right. It looks like when you ask around for a ride, even some of the other boatmen who might have finished their shift or are eating and drinking in the Styx Oarsmen kind of point towards somebody by the name of Skeva Drem the Trustworthy.
you know that he's not trustworthy, right?
Yeah, it's like when you go to honest. It's like when you go to Honest Jerry's. You don't expect a deal.
I hear you're looking for a ride. You come to the right place. We're the Styx Oarsmen. I am one of the great and enterprising boatmasters here.
How long have you been working here?
Oh, I've been working the oars all of my life.
How old are you?
Very probing question of you. I did not know that it was a prerequisite to get into a boat, pay a toll, and be delivered to your destination.
I have been away for
you
a
got
few
you there.
years. This place used to be much more fun.
Been away for many years. Oh, long time you've been lost in the deep darkness, have you?
You have no idea.
Oh. I've got the ear for it, if you'd rather sit here and chew the cud.
Where is, and then the name of the old owner, is old Zed.
Oh, Zed. Oh, he's lost in the shallows.
Kind of a colloquialism for not around here anymore.
Yeah.
Don't expect to get back anytime soon.
Yeah, he might have done disappeared.
Went swimming with the fishes.
Oh, who are your friends here? They look exotic.
Yes.
You there, troglodyte.
What language are they speaking?
They're speaking in Shadow Tongue, because that's the tongue that Zyra was speaking to the...
To whom is he speaking?
He's pointing at Murgavane while talking.
Murgovane this is in Shadow Tongue, or?
Yep.
Murgovane slams his fist on the table and responds in Shadow Tongue, "Do not speak of me as if I don't understand, or I will tear your head right from your body."
I mean to offend my great skilled friend here. I merely said that if you're looking for a job in labor or perhaps protection, that could be arranged.
I do not work for Darklings.
Oh, how very interesting.
He smiles.
Where shall I be taking you and your strange friend?
The bleak shore.
I'm not far from here, not far from here at all.
No.
And what brings you back so long?
He's actually waving you outside. You could see that there's a skiff and some rather dumb-looking oarsmen that are there, kind of slack-jawed, like there's something wrong with them. They are... they're actually a couple of half-orcs.
Half orcs and half what?
Are they
human.
They're
Just checking.
like 3.5 half orcs, where they had like mental ability penalties as opposed to the half orcs.
Yeah, they just seem to be sitting in the boat waiting.
What brings you to Bleak Shore?
My home is there.
Ah, hiding out with the rest of the Caligni, I see.
He glances at Zeta.
Zeta doesn't say.
The Caligni are a little bit different. So, like I described this before, it's almost like the Darkfolk are one race, but if that race kind of spread across the entire demi-human set, the Caligni are kind of the more elfin-like of the Darkfolk.
Okay.
Want to call them shadow?
They're not quite shadow elves, if that's a thing, but yeah. Quite a lot of Caligni live there, and given your connection to the shadow plane, you kind of like are quasi Caligni. Like you're often mistook as like a rare or exotic looking Caligni.
yeah, a little see in darkness and
Yep.
Hide in shadows.
They definitely keep to themselves as the different races or sub races of dark folk aren't necessarily trusting or always work together. He just smiles at you. There's something creepy about him. Give me a sense motive.
Sense mode.
Yeah.
Just from Zeta? Or...
Nope.
Zero.
Anyone who's watching him.
Called the honest. Whatever. The trustworthy.
35.
Obviously.
35. He's chuckling at his own joke. He thinks you're in for a surprise.
What will we find there?
It's Bleakshore, dear. I'm sure many people will be interested in you with your pale skin.
I can make you tell me. Intimidate check.
From Zeta? Sure.
Yep. 38.
He's looking around.
What's
going on?
There's no need for hostility or any of your weird elven tricks.
Then tell me why you think it's so funny.
Oh, well, Bleakshore isn't what it was. Years passed.
And he glances at Zyra.
What is it now?
Well, let's just say there are those amongst our kind that put down the little upstarts that live there. All right, I'll take you. Come along, come along.
The upstarts, you say?
Yes, there were some that didn't learn to live their own lives and not bother anyone. They forgot the first rule. Keep to yourself.
What do you know of the Reborn?
Reborn?
He just kind of... He's already gotten in.
That'll be 3 coins for each of you.
Should only be 1.
Prices seem to have gone up.
Oh yes, dangers afoot. Especially for those who stick their noses, and he
Kind of flicks his own nose when he says that.
sticks their nose into other people's business.
He glances at Zeta, no longer wanting to talk to her.
Okay, we'll pay the exorbitant price.
Okay. He hops out of the boat.
Take them to Bleakshore. Come back and do not tarry. Lest the Caligni put a spell on you.
It's like you kind of scared him away.
Yup.
Like he told you what you wanted to know, but now doesn't want to be near you.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how that works.
Yep, these 2 dim-witted looking half-orcs that are not shadow people begin rowing this kind of like elegant gondola, like skiff, flat bottom, a little bit wider than a gondola. One of them is rowing while the other one's steering. They use a pole for part of it, the guy who's steering, and then he sits back down once you're underway. There are other boats coming to and fro, and I'm going to give you, there's a beautiful picture of from the module, the Cradle of Night, that shows the entire picture. So I'm going to go Lyrudrada Great Cavern, map, player visible, and unfog what Lyrudrada looks like, at least from the place that you just left. So picture you guys came from one of the back areas and wandered your way to one of the docks and are kind of like heading out into the lake.
That's pretty cool, really.
Yeah.
Really well done.
So this is the image of probably one of the districts.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the city map. Okay, these two dull half orcs do row you across the way to the nearest dock.
Okay.
They don't charge you anything. They just kind of wait for you to get off the boat.
Okay, get off the boat.
There's not a lot of traffic on the dock, although you do have some people that do like watch you get off. You get the sense that while you're supposed to mind each other's business, it is perhaps with the freedoms in Lyrudrada something that people often forget to do. Are you minding your own business? kind of thing. Well, it's also like mind your own business for the people that live here, and there are a bunch of foreigners that have shown up at the dock. Nobody stops you. Nobody checks your stuff. It just seems to be quiet. You do know that you have to go to the south, unless you want to fly to your estate. Your estate is marked 2.
No, let's just walk around, see if we see anything that.
Walk around and look for, like.
Wait across.
Well, keep our eyes out for shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay. You do get to this pinch point. There are some shops and some people that are peddling wares, all sorts of weird fruit and strange fish that Zyra's probably got her opinions on. For the rest of you, it seems very, very exotic. Strange, like buckets of little tiny eels that are all still alive and moving, and one guy comes up to you fresh, and he digs his hand right into it and kind of sticks a bunch of these worm-like things into your face. It smells gross, Zita.
Oh, get away!
It's all the foreign food. It's very.
Nuts and berries.
Yeah, it's very pungent, and you guys continue on. Give me perception checks as you're crossing a square towards Zyra's estate.
Ooh, stone cunning.
Not stone cunning, no.
Perception. Bullshit.
41.
I shouldn't even bother. But I will.
18.
Okay, these are perception checks from the two people that can't see very far in the darkness.
Yes.
Okay,
26.
so there's nothing in your immediate surroundings with the 41.
Everything's fine.
Yep.
The person who can see infinitely in the darkness
Yep.
gets a 42.
Okay,
There we go.
Nice.
Zyra stops as she sees going into the front of her home is not a Caligny, is not one of her friends or her followers, but 2 dark stalkers with a shadow mastiff on a chain. And and coming out of the entrance to your manor are 2 other dark folk with weapons, with another shadow mastiff on a chain. And you catch what looks like 2 guards with a shadow mastiff changing patrol. They end up turning away from you, and it just looks like they're slowly walking with a sense of sense motive. What's your base sense motive?
My base sensor motive is plus 23.
Yeah, there's a casualness. They're alert, but it's a thing that they've done many times before.
Are they wearing livery of any type?
They are wrapped up. You'd have to get closer to see if they have any scars or any particular sigils.
Well, I think we're just gonna. This might get awkward. Try not to get violent if you don't have to. I'm gonna
Kate's taking me to gin.
walk right up.
Kate's drinking his battle juice. Bloop, bloop. All right, so I'm going to copy your tokens to a map called Zyra's estate. The first map I'm going to give you guys access to completely. Adam, you can have a look at it. It's Zyra's estate. Your memory of it. And yes, there's stuff that's broken, but pretend that it's not.
Somebody threw a big house party when you were gone.
Yep. So I'm going to go Zyra's estate and force you guys there.
I didn't even see it.
So this is the approach.
There it is. Player map.
You do know that there is a secret door in the back that leads to your bedroom. What else do you know? That the previous owner of the estate, and you never got it fixed, there is a bone snake golem thing that you kept packed in a box in the little alcove of the secret passageway. You never got to the point where you were able to like make a command rod for it or something like that. The command rod was broken.
I happen to have met a nerd, a super nerd.
Yep, there's a master's lounge and storage and a gallery and guest quarters and a laundry, a laboratory. This is where you poop and pee. Armory, guard quarters. It's all one floor. There's the Great Hall itself. Some minor lordling had lived here before. You kind of never changed the jade seat that was here.
Chair.
Yep, there's a big dining hall that is beautiful, a kitchen, there's some bedrooms. You know that there's a secret passageway that the cook had used to store some like potions and other things. There are servants' quarters with some storage and a common room. Big gates at the front, and these two guards have basically like a duo went in with a Shadow Mastiff and a different duo came out with a Shadow Mastiff, and it looked like they were like changing a patrol.
So,
you never employed Shadow Mastiffs, and your followers never counted amongst their numbers any Shadow folk.
the
Mostly you had a small group of Caligni and other people who were concerned.
property rights in Chaos Town.
You would pay taxes to the local neighborhood burgomaster.
Oh, you're behind on your taxes.
What is a good? Let's not use burgomaster. That sounds too European. What is a
Ward counselor.
a warden is pretty good. Let's see if there's any. The fucks is a prex? A president, especially the president of a college or society, a prex.
What a prex. My voice sounds terrible and I apologize.
Yeah, let's call them Baron.
Baron, fell off a wagon.
Sheriff.
I've never heard of Prexy before. A rector? Weird.
Landlord, yeah.
Yeah, let's call them Prexes. Prex. There would be a Prex, kind of like a baron, a baron landlordish type person for each of the districts, and as long as you paid your taxes, you owned the place. Like, you'd have to come to an accord with them.
Trying to replace my head with this thing.
Yeah, good job.
Alright, so let's go talk to the guards.
Okay, so yeah, that's the player map. These guys shouldn't be there. Let's go to.
Are we fighting, or should I drink this or not?
You shouldn't need to drink it. This should be sorted out peaceably. I'd keep it in the front pocket though.
Yeah, he's got his hand behind his back. He's got it in his hand.
Okay, which way are you approaching your home?
From the front, like we own the place.
Okay, map, player visible, enforce, center. All right, so you guys are approaching the front. You do see that. Well, actually, you don't see any guards. The doors are closed, so there were some shadow mastiffs and guards, or a shadow mastiff and 2 guards that had left, which means that there's at least 2 shadow folk and a mastiff that are in your home. You do see some old paint across the doorway that has dried and actually peeled a little bit, and then somebody tried half-assed to wash it away. It is the linguistics check is just a sigil.
Oh, I should do that.
23.
I can beat that.
You guys with all your skills.
Sorry.
How many points of craft punch did you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the next time my AC 17 is getting demolished.
AC 17.
Well, see, this AC is just stupid. If things are, if like Adam says, if things are taking swings at you, you've done something wrong. If you're a caster.
It fully embraces that. Someone get mobbed by goblins, it's a problem.
Oh my god! Okay, never mind. I can't beat 22.
22. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. It is. It is a symbol that says. It's like a slur on somebody that is from the light-filled realm, like light lover, and it's kind of done in a way that it has the connotation of it being bad. Like you've betrayed the shadow plane, and you're an enemy.
Heretic. That's less encouraging.
What is it?
It's a slur.
What does it say?
It translates into dances in light, as in you frivolously live in the harshest of places, and you don't know, you don't know any better.
I'm starting to like this place already.
Light dancer.
It'll be a lot of fun down here.
We're gonna let Faye out of the locket.
Okay.
Have her.
Home is what she says.
Home has some intruders, and if you could make a survey, please.
Yes.
Don't get caught.
Remember, I can only go through the doors and not the walls.
Remember. Did you go through the floors?
No,
There's only one floor.
it's only the doors, which means that she could go through the back door, or she could go through the front doors.
We'll send her to the back door.
Okay, she kind of flits around in the darkness and disappears for a while. You can tell from your empathic connection to your quasi-familiar that she seems determined. Also a sense of apprehension because there's something wrong with the home, but also a good feeling that home is home. Let's say some unfilled backstory. When you had first came to Lyrudrada with Maffei, you had asked Maffei, like, this is Maffei's home, this place. you had asked Maffei, do you know a place where we can stay? And she basically said, yeah, I know a crooked old man who needs some comeuppance.
So we come up into the crooked old man.
You come up into the crooked old man who helped Faye get captured. Or helped get Shay get captured by, I would offer XP if you Hunkley. Yeah, there we go. But
manor.
that led to Hunkley capturing Maffei.
Yep. It's the Shadow Hunkley.
And then you made arrangements with the local Prexy, and they had no problem you taking over the place, given that there was no longer
that sounds very familiar to what might have happened.
No longer a person in charge. People also didn't like him because this wizard, we'll say, was a troublemaker, and he didn't mind other people's business. So what he got was deserved. It's a chaotic neutral place, man. This is really weird. There is no law, so all of us need shotguns and sit in our homes and waiting to be robbed. Right.
Which is...
That's nice for them. We brought bazookas.
So here's the thing. If they didn't fill out their taxes properly inside this house, they're getting their teeth kicked in.
Well, no, if they didn't give the proper kickbacks to the Prexy and are good tenants and are not good, like, didn't pay their taxes and are troublemakers as opposed to good tenants, then, you know.
No. If these people, if there's any possible justification for hurting these people, they're getting hurt.
Got it. Maffei does come back. Give me a Does Maffei have any way of detecting traps?
Maffei is a shadow that has my skills, and I do not have. I don't believe I'm a rogue.
Okay, give me a D3. 1, Maffei set off an alarm. 2, she and was spotted. 2, she set off an alarm and was not spotted. 3, she just missed it. 3, okay. Wow. That kind of makes sense, and I could explain it later. So Maffei comes back. As you guys are you still standing in the street, or did you move away while Maffei was?
We like got ourselves someplace a little bit more inconspicuous.
Okay, across the street and around a corner, kind of thing.
Yep.
Maffei comes back. You actually felt. She felt really crafty. She got annoyed. A sense of recognition, anger, and the determination. And she comes flying back quick. You would never guess who's there. Do you remember the young bard that we took in? She says.
The boy?
No. The girl that we thought was a boy. She's sleeping in your bed. I got the sense that there was something else in the room. So I left. The secret passage looks undisturbed. I don't think they know it's there.
I suppose then we should have a chat with our brave little girl.
She looks different. She has equipment she didn't have before. She has wealth. And she's sleeping in your bed.
Any other gods in there?
sense something around the door. Something I do not know how to describe.
No other mystics.
What was that? Sorry?
No other mystics.
She's saying she only went through the secret passageway and into the bedroom, and then she sensed something that...
Yep.
Something made her turn back, is what she said.
Yeah. Oh.
Or that what you gather.
So, I think we're gonna have Operation Telegang because we should be able to point out pretty precisely dimension door coordinates for the bedroom.
Yeah, you can walk around to the back alley and dimension door in. Yes.
Yep. And just have the bestest of conversations, which are the ones where they're in bed and aren't wearing their equipment, and you're not in bed and you're wearing your equipment. Yeah. We should have a talk.
What of the rest of the house?
Well, if she's in my bed, then she thinks she's the head of the house. Or if she's in our bed, then she thinks that she's the head of the house. Obviously, we need to have a discussion with her about that.
Yes. We have the advantage here.
Right through the front door, then. Nice.
No,
Through the back door.
we're going to sneak in the back way. Zita, how many can you tell us?
Kate looks like he wants to say a joke.
5.
So, we just like fucking.
Widget, get in the bag.
So we're just gonna like keep a lookout. Like he has dark vision and he speaks shadow tongue, so like
So he's fine.
well he can at least pretend like he's local.
If someone opens the back door, Widget can get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just hang out there.
Unless he wants to get into the sack.
I don't want to get in the sack.
What is wrong with the sack? Says Maffei.
You don't like my sack. Where's Ahmed? Aw.
Oh, I hear you.
Maffei lives in a locket, so
Yeah.
she actually says this without any sort of joke to her. Like she's like, what?
Yeah. That's I was thinking about that as well.
She's just regarding Widget.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm certain that we can sort it out. So, is there a rule about killing? It's probably a rule about killing.
There's usually a rule about killing.
Do it to them before they.
It's usually the first rule they make when you have a society of any kind. Let's not just randomly kill each other.
Yeah, you might break some rules by going in there and...
Well, that's why we don't kill. No deaths, no poisoning. We are going to have a conversation.
Could you make people
pressure
Could you make people disappear into the river?
I can make people disappear into the material.
Right. You hate the light field, bro?
The sunlight.
No! Out of we ever sleep? It never gets dark there. I know. The sunlight, it burns. It burns.
And if you look at it, you will be forever blinded.
And people live there? Oh, my.
The light is so bright it burns you. It makes your skin fall off.
Mafe, like, she looks at the locket and she's asking you a question with sort of a feeling and a weird twitch. Do you want her in the locket or is she staying out?
She'll go back in the locket.
Okay. She goes back into the locket. She looks at Widget like what's your problem kind of thing as she's kind of sublimating and getting sucked up into the locket, and pretty soon she's gone.
I don't want to be in the lizard's bag.
All right, what are you guys doing now?
Smells funny in there.
You actually can hear the Shadow Mastiff growling as the patrol has made its way all around the building.
We are going to point out the direction that we would like to go.
You guys are down the street and around a corner a little bit, kind of.
Okay, we'll maneuver ourselves to be within dimension door range.
Okay, from the rear.
From the rear, and then we're going to describe precisely where we need to go to Zeta.
Okay, you're basically going beyond that wall.
Yep, and we're going to have a conversation with the lady.
Okay, and what is Widget doing?
Widget is going to have a smoke while leaning up against the posts and trying not to look conspicuous.
All right, are you hiding, or are you just sort of like pretending that you belong?
Pretending that I belong.
Okay,
I suck at hiding.
Can you give me a?
Actually, he'll turn invisible. He's got an invisibility ring, so have a smoke while invisible.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to arrange your characters in whatever dimension door formation you seem appropriate. You guys are on the map.
Okay. Faye actually doesn't need to be in the locket because the dimension door will affect her using the familiar share spell.
Cool.
And we're gonna put Zeta.
Isn't that only if isn't share spell only you can use personal spells on your familiar?
We always ruled that familiars don't count when you're teleporting.
Okay.
They're part of the master's stuff. So, like when Phineas teleports, he doesn't need to use an extra creature spot to bring his raven along.
Good.
I thought that was always in the description. Or is this a house rule that has been just around so long that
it might be? We can dissect that later. All right. So Zeta, kind of point the general. You could also look at the other map, like point with your pointer whereabouts you want to appear.
I'm on the
Okay.
Fog of War map.
Yep.
So like there.
Alrighty.
Not in a wall, hopefully.
yeah, it'll be 1d6 shunting.
Nope. You managed to teleport into the home. This is it's really convenient when you know the layout of your own house and have teleport spells. It's like, yeah, you guys shouldn't be here.
This is my house.
Let's roll a d3. Let's see if I roll 1, she's actually sleeping when you arrive. 2, she's in bed but awake. And then 3, she's actually, since the time of you moving around, has gotten up. 3, okay. Let's see if she's in the room, not in the room. She's still in the room in sort of indisposed area. 2, she is in the room and she's gotten dressed. 3, she's out of the room already. 3. Okay, you guys arrive, and there's nobody in the room.
Zira's gonna put a swoosh finger up to her mouth.
Okay, you can hear people talking, however, in the next room. The next room over, let me just quickly describe what is in this room, and then you know that in the next room, I think it's the Master's Lounge, like where you would sit and have breakfast and where servants could tend to your needs. And
Gonna hide in the shadows.
the opulent bedroom contains 2 beds, well, one of which is your bed, and the other one, why didn't you sleep in the other bed? What was wrong with it? It was a trap.
It's the bed that eats.
It was, haven't used that one yet.
Never mind then.
This was a spell-trapped bed. The wizard that used it before, you just decided to keep the trap, and you've never really, used it. So you know which one is your bed as well. These opulent chambers bear ornately carved wooden headboards that you know were imported from the surface, perhaps during the Shadow War, which are wood is incredibly rare and valuable in the subterranean city. There are some silver chamber pots, a stand near the beds. The floor is covered in a thick, shaggy rug of brightly colored geometric patterns. It is a partially domed ceiling, painted with a mural that resembles the starry night sky.
It's a nice mural.
Renee,
Is
of
it-
course,
is
looks...
it-
Renee,
Is it
of
the
course...
proper. Is it the proper Starry Night Sky or the new?
It is the proper night sky, like as in the night sky that Zyra remembered it, and she actually took one of Renee's scrolls that had the night sky in it, because Renee had like dozens of scrolls, and he like discarded a bunch because he screwed up a tiny measurement. But for like Art Deco on your ceiling, this was perfect, and Renee actually like sees his own work in the stars. You can hear dark folk talking. She's like, you can hear a female voice kind of snapping at someone. These are overcooked. Try again.
Yes, mistress.
And you can hear like shuffling around and
Okay, you're just gonna hide in shadows?
do you think this food comes cheap?
No, mistress.
Good. We'll feed it to the slurk.
Oh, yes, mistress.
Then we're gonna shadow step through the door.
Okay. State, partial prone, and we'll unfog. Bloop. Sitting at your breakfast table is a woman that you recognize, someone that you took out, like you kind of let into your little group of learned folk and Caligny and cultists of Lyr. She was being chased by dark folk. No, she was being chased by like an errant shadow hound that was kind of running around in the neighborhood. And you got the sense that she was on the run, and you took pity on her. She does look much older. Like 10 years is nothing to scoff at to humanish dark folk. You're still hidden, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she gets a
Perception check.
perception check versus your hiding.
Mm-hmm.
26.
I guarantee to be better than that. Because I have a plus 25. 44.
Okay, you are standing in shadows in the room. There are 3 dark creeper, I would call them like servants or valets. They've got little uniforms on, and it looks like they are quickly trying to poach some eggs of strange non-chicken variety. While one of them is clearing the plate, and kind of looks like they want to eat it, but they're actually bringing it out on the plate when she had mentioned they'll feed it to the slurk. into the next room. This one leaves the room. Ooh, not that way. Leaves the room this way. You can hear the growling and kind of snarling of something dog-like behind this door. And some like slop that one of the dark creepers seems to be preparing. It looks like meat variety of slop with a bunch of insects mixed in. The storage chamber that she opens up the door into looks like it's been like destroyed. Like somebody has ransacked it many times and not bothered cleaning it up. Enough time has passed, however, that there are little walkways amongst the trash. Like, they're just signs of really, really dirty living. And living off of your pantry, which looks pretty damn low, if not restocked with things that you wouldn't eat. Mm-hmm. The creeper closes the door behind her with a plate of eggs that weren't good enough. I'm waiting.
Yes, it takes time to boil.
Okay, I'm going to shadow step back into the other room.
Okay. There's like a flinch from Murgrovane as you appear in the room, or are you hiding from your companions as well?
I was hiding in the shadows, but yeah, I'm still hiding in the shadows. But then I'll appear, and I will.
Everyone, free action or like radiant action hits you. Zyra explodes, and that's the end. You reload, and you're like, "Fuck, guys!"
We reload the same.
Fucking trigger happy, fuckers. Everyone's like, "Oh, sorry."
We didn't know friendly fire was on.
All right, not that game.
Yep.
Although playing the video game version of this might be fun. We might run an encounter video game style.
We're gonna cast possession on the lovely lady.
This sounds awful. I don't think I've ever had the spell cast. Like, I think there's Magic Jar that I'm used to, but possession.
To attempt to possess a creature by projecting your soul into its body. The target creature must be within the spell range. You must know where it is, though you do not need line of sight or line of effect. You transfer your soul upon casting. Your body appears to be dead. Failure to take over a host ends the spell. If you are successful, your life force occupies the host's body. The host soul is imprisoned with you and can still use its own senses, though it can't assert any influence or even use purely mental abilities. You can communicate telepathically with the host as if you share a common language, but only with your consent.
If the host body is killed, you return to your own body at life. Holy shit. Okay.
Holy shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so this is like the ultimate interrogation spell, which is the I'm in your body now. How you doing?
Huh.
This is a shadow spell?
Okay, so Zyra collapses. She did cast a spell before she collapsed. It was a verbal somatic spell. The DC is 25 spellcraft check to know what she cast.
Renee has a look of concern. Oh god.
I actually have to roll.
You actually have to roll.
Oh, sorry, that's sorry, that should have been plus 20. That's not
40? Okay, so Zeta knows enough that she's able to move forward and catch Zyra's body. You could have just lied down on your bed if you if you wanted as well.
Yeah.
Zeta actually kind of like moved forward and sort of pushed you towards the bed as you collapsed with such a good roll. Renee, do you have any idea what's going on?
What was DC?
25.
25.
Oh, I might have made it. Oh, come on, Renee. You rolled good. Oh, Renee. I don't know why I'm sounding so... Renee knows!
Okay.
He knows!
Renee flinched, but then he saw what he was doing, what she was doing. You've never seen Zyra cast this spell before. Okay, this lady, who had the penchant for being a very good dancer and perhaps a bard, has to make a will save. And this is not a sonic effect.
This is a necromancy effect.
And it's not even lingual. 1d20 plus a whopping 8. D21.
Nope. It's close.
Okay. You hear the what the and what came out of her mouth, but the didn't, but it came out of her head as you are now in a seated position with a plate of poached what look like what would be some sort of weird underdark shadow plane eggs.
The lizard eggs.
Yeah, some sort of like shocker lizard eggs.
Spicy.
Yeah, poached shocker lizard eggs that are put down in front of you.
Is everything all right, mistress?
Says this.
Everything is fine. You didn't botch them as bad as you did the last ones.
Oh yes. Forgive our forgive our overpoaching. We know how expensive those shocker lizard eggs are. It was Zatilda.
It whispers quietly as if it's trying to snitch on one of the other.
Snitch on the other one?
Yep.
She was supposed to be doing the poaching.
She does not know how to cook shocker lizard eggs. She only knows how to cook spider eggs.
Most disappointing.
Yes.
She offers you the little two-pronged fork and this weird pepper shaker thing.
Okay, we'll put some pepper on the thing.
Okay, you put some shadow pepper on.
Shadow pepper on the shadow chocolate lizard egg.
Yeah, you put some some weird spice that you never really liked, but you shake it all over the eggs and you see the servant there watching you. Meanwhile, what the fuck is going on? Who the fuck? You're in my body. You're in my head.
You're in my house.
What? Zyra?
You didn't think the Shadow Wish wouldn't find you, did you?
You're dead. This is impossible.
Maybe I just needed a new body.
No, it's my body.
Liking.
It's my body in my house. Get out of my head.
Where are my friends? The ones who took you in and took care of you, saved you.
She's yelling. She says she's trying to yell a name.
You know what, Adam? It's time for you to go. Perhaps we need a face tattoo.
She's yelling like she was yelling. She's like, "Alarm! Intruder! Vita! Narami!" No! So she says when she sees that you're just holding the fork and looking at your eggs and not all excited. Get the guards! You stupid! It's not me! Get the guards! She's yelling at the servant through your eyes, who's like fussing and putting out some fresh squeezed like a root tea.
Okay. Take a sip.
It's a little bitter for you. You're like this Caligny didn't like any of the things that you liked. It's too bitter for you.
Oh, something sweet, she says. We don't have any sugar. Sugar? Something sweet.
And she hits the other one, and the other one goes rooting around in a... Alright, so, Calaverius is having a fit in your head, like yelling at the servants and trying to yell for the two guards.
Will her the inability to talk for a bit, because she can only communicate with me upon my will.
Okay, so you're just kind of like muting her for a little bit.
I'll mute her for a little bit.
Okay, you just sort of hear like it's like she's disappearing down some far off tunnel and then gone. As you sit and try to enjoy the eggs.
I will re-enable the contact.
Okay,
It really is terrible.
one of the dark creepers is saying, sweet shroom. It's a sauce that is made from a particular mushroom that kind of is sweet. And they're
Nod.
what's that?
I'll nod.
Yeah, it has a weird pungent taste, but it does make things sweet. Like you could tell that sweet shroom is
We're just
used.
gonna pour some molasses right in there.
Yeah,
Sweet shroom.
Like table sugar.
yeah. It's and they pour a little bit, and they're asking you kind of when.
I'll nod. Not too much. I don't want to make something I can't drink.
Oh, that wretched beast!
Says the third one as she comes back in.
Slobbering and sliming all over the place.
Now then, how have things been? They've been a busy couple of, years.
I didn't realize you'd returned. I was simply looking after the place for you. Give me a sense motive.
I don't believe you. But you are a bard, so maybe it's reasonable.
Let's just start with a fork in the kneecap.
29.
29. My sense motive is plus 23. And my VC is shitting the bed, so chat's gone. 34.
No, she's making up shit.
Where are the mystics?
Oh, your little cult of light-worshipping freaks, she says.
The moon has a dark and a light side. He would forgive you.
Prattling on about the stars and things in the sky. As if the light world wasn't bad enough that the nighttime there is pinpricked through the firmament, that even in the dark there is light. Wretched, horrible traitor, that's what she says.
She's gonna start pressing the fork against her hand.
Okay.
Mistress? Are you all right?
Servants are looking down at your hand, looking up at you.
I told you she's got to get tired of eggs. Maybe she wants some meat.
Leave me.
Yes. Did you piss her off? Yes, you pissed her off with the eggs. Those are the last of the...
You hear the three squabbling woman dark creepers in their little valet suits leaving. They shut the door behind them, and you can hear them squabbling in the next room. Don't you dare put a mark on me. You're just like Maffei, aren't you? You came back as a shadow, didn't you? Yes, you're some sort of spirit.
Seems I found a body.
We can come to an accord, and there are much more suitable bodies for you. Call for the officers. The two of them outside.
Why are you working with...
Vita and Narami. They are, dark creepers. Maybe you can have one of their bodies. And you can order all the little dark creepers and the dark stalkers around.
Why would I want one of their bodies?
Because
They don't have the right equipment.
I worked hard for everything that I have. How dare you take this from me? You're the one that left. You're the one that left a bunch of nosy people that didn't mind their own business
Where's Ayana?
with the rest of them
And where is that?
taken away.
That's it.
Just start shaving layers off her nose. She'll answer you quickly enough.
Just start cutting her hair.
Those
Yeah,
that
that-
survived anyways, she smiles.
Find some scissors and just start cutting her hair.
Is there a knife in here?
Oh yeah, it's like almost like a kitchen for you. For some reason, a lot of the things from the kitchen had been moved into here, like so you could be served directly.
Okay. We're gonna find a cooking knife,
Okay, so you get up.
and
What
we're gonna find something that's shiny enough to be used as a mirror because she can still see through her eyes.
Okay, so there is a magic hot plate, which is a neat thing. It's like a stone that just gets really warm enough to boil a pot, and there's still a boiling pot kind of out. You fucking bitch! Get out of my body! Get out of my head! How dare you!
We'll pull the cloak down.
Okay.
We're gonna take the knife.
Okay. They were
So evil.
they were taken away by order of the priest, the purger.
Priest. The purger.
Yes, they were taken away to the Seder Spires. The wretched spider thing, well, you know. You pay enough to the owners of the Seder Spires, and they will make sure that those that get delivered to their door have a miserable time. I didn't do it.
Why weren't you taken?
Because I was never part of your little moon-worshipping cult. I had arrived, you left. And then when I saw them digging into other people's business, well, I got interested. But then I saw what they were interested in. I saw from my own eyes something that finally made sense.
What of the Reborn?
Exactly. Those little dark creepers and the dark stalkers and their champions and all sorts of things. Do you know that our souls, they light up when we die? Those that receive the mark, they get to live on. And those very few who are turned by the Ober shadow get to keep all of their memories. Become special in her name.
What do you know of the Ober shadow?
He wasn't around when you were here. He arrived recently. Actually, shortly after you left. He serves the dragon in Elf Shadow. The Shadow Mother has finally come to Lyrudrada. The Reborn have grown strong. You can just go out there and ask them. Or perhaps you could hop into the body of one of their officers. They'll know much more. They turned this little place into a barracks of sorts, where they can keep an eye on, well, all the Caligni that followed your silly ways. Light dancers are no longer welcome in Lyrudrada. If you hurry, Ayana might still be alive. Although, you should probably kill her.
Why?
Well, aside from that stupid, smug face of hers and that idiotic laugh, you could tell that, like, there's just roiling, like, rivalry hatred Like, why did you think that she was special? I showed up and I thought I was special, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, letting stray dogs and, you know.
Yep. Sometimes you get bit.
Yep. You don't know what badness they've gone through. You don't know what toilet training they've had.
Hey guys, do you mind carrying Zyra's body for the rest of the adventure? Because I think we're going to keep this one.
I like the efficiency of what has transpired. Yeah, yes, I gave them information, Fox, that, you know, it's like, there are intruders in your house, Fox. Do you know how to get into your house better than the intruders do? Perhaps.
No problemo. We got this.
What brought you back after all this time? Are you here? You know that there's a line every day that goes into the Forsaken Fane. You could get a mark. You could get a special mark.
We're going to start, like, undressing, looking for the mark.
Okay, you kind of like... Give me a second. I need to look at something. So you first check, like, her torso, and
Yep.
you don't find a mark there. She giggles.
Well,
Not half bad, huh? Is what she says. I always knew that you liked women.
too bad your body will age so quickly.
Okay, there's a slight feeling of dread that she pushes away quickly. As you are searching yourself, which is weird, but
Yep.
give me a perception check as you check yourself.
Check yourself.
Check yourself.
Do I have any pins? Alright. Don't need that. 44.
Okay. You find a strange mark. Well, how are you searching?
Kate will search for you.
We're basically
Magnifying glass.
stripping down and like contorting to look. So, like, if it's between the shoulder blades, we have a hard time. seeing.
Okay, so you're like looking. There's nothing that you can see that is a mark, and she's giggling. What are you looking for, dear?
Where's your mark? Where did you mar your flesh?
Why do you think I have one? What are the rest of the people doing?
What the fuck's going on? Is she dead?
No, she has possessed another. She would have returned to her body if it did not work.
This is Maffei.
Which means she is in charge right now. Let us have patience.
Oh, all right.
Meanwhile, there's a half-naked Caligny woman in the next room talking to herself in her head.
Kate's stretching.
Okay, so you have now, like, you're buck naked, you're looking around. From what you can see, there is no mark. And she stopped laughing at you, but initially you caught her with your high sense motive that she was laughing like you're too stupid to
Cast a
find it.
detect magic.
Okay, give me another perception check.
Okay. 42.
Okay, you realize that you...
Actually, that's 5 less than that because I've got a magic item that my body currently doesn't have.
Got it. So that's fine. You ended up taking off a circlet that she was wearing, And when you took off the circlet, the ever so faint necromancy is kind of above your head. You're sort of like, you're looking up at it, you could see the aura kind of coming into view slightly, but...
Oh.
Fuck you. Fuck you is what she says.
Tattoo the inside of a butt cheek kind of hide the ring.
It's also a little bit of universal magic.
Yep. There it is. So
You'd probably need a mirror to see it.
no, we were trying to figure out a way to make a mirror to.
Okay, so you find a shiny plate and you kind of pull it up, and yeah, there's some sort of mark that it felt like the circlet that she was wearing was masking a mark that went across her forehead, kind of around her head. You do feel like that there might have been at one point, like she might have shaved it, and then now it's shorter hair that has grown in, but the mark does go right into the scalp, like she's got some circlet around her head.
Oh, you definitely had work done.
You're not supposed to see his mark. I wonder what happens if...
The overshadow?
I wonder what happens if you kill me. You probably shouldn't.
Something horrible spawns from you and we kill that.
Yes, I waited in line, and I was chosen, she said. Not all of the reborn supplicants get chosen to be sent to he.
So you've met the overshadow.
And there's actual fear that creeps into her, like maybe she's thinking about it. I think so. I was chosen. And he came one night. I've never seen so many shadows. I saw under his cloak, and it looked like there was a hellstorm underneath it. And then he made me better. All the guilt that I ever had, gone. Released from me like a shackle. Set loose.
Do you have modified memory?
All.
No.
Or the steel
All of the stupid things I loved before were gone. I felt no shame for defending myself. I felt no shame, no guilt, and I am free.
And what did you do to feel guilty?
He took it away. He took it away. I don't even remember anymore. Just like I don't remember what I had for breakfast 3 days ago. It just doesn't matter. This is a creepy, like, she's sending that she can't remember the things that she should feel guilty about because she doesn't feel guilt anymore.
Well, we'll readjust our clothing.
Okay, so you put your clothing back on. How long does this last?
An hour.
13 hours.
13 hours, okay?
That's a lot of tattoo work.
I'll tell you the word if you let me go.
Well, let's just take a look at my bluff check. because
You know that she'd pretty much say anything at this point in time to get out of the situation she's in.
okay, my bluff is not a 5. My bluff is a 23. I was for a second there. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how to lie. My bluff is a plus 23. What's the word?
The word that you have to do if you want to stand in line. Seems like you're eager to meet him.
It appears that my body already has the blessing. But does that really bless my soul?
Oh, the great and wise light dancer priestess coming down here to preach about something hanging in the sky. Worried about the corruption of something so far away. You've always been foolish. Go and meet Pergeron. Go to the fane. See what awaits you there.
What do you know of Pergeron?
He's a Dusk Lord. I know that he worshipped the silly gods of the light-filled, blaspheming realms. I know that when he came down here and saw Dracia Umbravilda for the first time and felt her power, that he cast aside his gods so quickly that she made him archpriest.
Was his name Arlen?
Right in the ribs!
Hey.
Right in the ribs!
I was thinking that myself. I was like, it's probably Arlen.
Let's go for a walk.
I don't feel like walking. I didn't have my eggs yet, she says. You always were a fucking bitch. She fucking loses again. You stick her in the back for a while. Yep. You're gonna then eat the egg when you stick her in the back. Okay. Your companions are now starting to. You could actually hear them fidgeting a little bit.
Okay, we're gonna go to the bedroom.
Okay. All the readied actions kill you. I mean,
You're
a
poisoned.
woman. How do you approach? The door is opening, guys. What are you doing?
Renee's got.
Cade's readying an attack.
Okay.
Readying a charge.
So Murgovane's got his weapon out. Cade's sitting on the fucking like one of the dressers, ready to fucking punch you with a dripping fist. Renee's arrows are aiming. You can see Zita has gone off. Clinging to the shadows. Do you say anything so you don't get whacked?
Blessings of Lyra upon you.
Who the fuck's that?
Okay, an attractive, not quite elfin, but elfin shaped woman. She's slight. She's got sort of a meaner face, although it is not tense at this moment. Raven dark hair. She's wearing all sorts of close-fitting clothing. She's got a rapier at her belt and a spork in her hands. It's some sort of spoon, but it's a fork. It's really fucking weird.
The woman doesn't look surprised to see us.
No, she just sort of walks in. She's like, blessings of Lyra to all of you.
Zyra? That's you?
Nod.
She's closing the door behind her.
Yep.
It's still like... No.
Her name
You
was...
well to address
No,
me as,
stop!
you would do well to address me as Calavar.
Calavarus.
Very well. What is the plan from here?
My friends are in the spire.
Let's go get him out.
Bergeron is behind it.
Let's go kill him.
Normally, I don't agree with the dwarf, but